Say this about the Microsoft case, that and I've expressed this to a couple of news organizations who asked the question earlier. 20 years ago, this country really had sort of an inferiority complex about its place in the world economic order. And we talked about having a country of hamburger flippers, and we thought we were going to lose our steel industry and our auto industry. And we really didn't quite see how America fit into the world where it looked like the Japanese and the Germans to some extent and all those were eating our lunch. So, and there are many of you who are too young to remember that, but there are many of you in this room who will remember that. And we were very depressed about our economic situation in this country. And then this, whatever you want to call it, information age or whatever, came along, fueled by technology, and we've just swept the world aside. I mean, we are so far number one that it's difficult to think who's number two. So here we have, and it's changed. In some way, it's contributed to a change, I should say, in the national mood, and it's what part of our prosperity is accounted for by it, no one knows, but I think everybody in the room would agree that it's significant. And that age is going to get, and that development is going to get more and more important in the years to come. It's going to be fueling much of what happens in the world, and for this country to be the world leader, and like I say, you can't even see who's in second place, and moving faster even to increase that lead, with all the benefits that brings. I think we've got something working very well that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to tinker with too much. So I would not want to go in with a meat axe into something that is pulling this country along, in my view, in a huge way. And I don't like to tinker with success, and it's an important success. It's really an important success. Charlie and I may not understand how to play that in terms of buying the companies that are going to do well 10 or 15 years from now, but we know some companies will do well, and we certainly know it'll have a huge benefit to society, even if it makes business less profitable but makes the society more efficient. I mean, that is a huge edge to have. I would love to have the most efficient industry in the world in this country, even though it might pull down returns on capital against the less efficient system. So I think neither one of us would be inclined to go in there and mess around with something that's working.
If you look at the big picture in patriotic terms, having lost totally in radios, stereos, television sets, etc., and many other places, and having lost position in other major industries to the Japanese and others, we finally get huge leadership in a new and wonderful field, software, that's needed all over the earth. And somebody who's drawing a salary from the United States government gets the bright idea that it should dramatically weaken the one place where we're winning big.
Space engineer by profession, so the technology sector is of prime interest to me, and I think we'll all agree at least the last 6 to 8 months has been phenomenal for the technology sector. And I also see that you're somewhat befriending Mr. Gates and inviting him into your house, etc. Is there a possibility down the road a piece of you doing some type of purchase of Microsoft or acquiring that, or is there something you two could work out together?
I bought 100 shares first day I met Bill. Bill Gates is one of the great managers of all time, and is an exceptional business talent who loves his business. And when you get that combination and a high energy level and now an heir to leave it to, I don't think you do much better than that. Bill Gates did a very good job of developing a product that was bundled with millions and millions and millions of PCs. It's called Encarta. It's actually Funkin' Wagnalls. He hates it when that comes out, but he changed the name to Encarta, which was smart of him. And There are a few people in this room who are witness to a demonstration 4 or 5 years ago in Bermuda where, in connection with Encarta, it showed the moon and the Earth, and the moon bumped into the Earth in this. And I don't know why it sticks in my mind. I thought I ought to mention it today. But his is doing very well. So apparently there are a number of people that don't care about the fact the moon and the Earth collide. But in the World Book, the moon and the Earth never bump into each other. He's done extremely well with Encarta, incidentally. I mean, it was a masterpiece of moving into an area and pushing hard. And I tip my hat to him. But now we're going to.
Yeah, we've copied him.
Yeah, we copied him.
My husband and I have rather different investment approaches. And in 1988, he bought me 1 share of Berkshire so that I could learn something about investing. We both started about that same time, and he has chosen to invest in, let's say, about 40 different stocks and buying and selling, and doing rather well for us, frankly. My approach is more simple, and basically I finally figured out last year that I should invest in the companies of the 2 wealthiest men in the world. So I decided we should buy monthly more Berkshire and Microsoft. So then this year, and so we've been able to do that. This year we read in your report that Berkshire is selling at a price at which Charlie and I would not consider buying it. So my husband has challenged my investment strategy. I know that you are an honest man, and while you may not recommend to my partner Charlie to buy more Berkshire at this time, do you recommend that I continue my rather automatic investment buying of Berkshire? And I think I know the answer, but I wanted my husband to hear it from the horse's mouth.
I think you're using me here.
What?
Well, we don't recommend selling it, but we don't recommend buying it either. We are neutral on that subject, and I hope you continue to be in with the 2 wealthiest guys. I like the other fellow too.
Thank you.
You have Mr. Gates there. I'm just wondering why you've never bought Microsoft.
Well, in the earlier years, it's very clear. The answer is stupidity. But since Bill has, particularly since Bill has joined the board, but even earlier than that, because of our friendship, it just would be a mistake for Berkshire to buy Microsoft, because if something happened a week later, a month later, in terms of them having better earnings than expected or making an acquisition, anything, both Bill and I would incorrectly, but would be a target of suggestions and accusations, perhaps even, that somehow he had told me something or vice versa. I try to stay away from a few things just totally, because the inference would be drawn that I might have talked to somebody about something. So I've told the fellows, that Ted and Todd, for example, that there are just a few things that are off the list, because there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't believe us if something good immediately happened after we bought it. And of course, to buy a lot of stock, you can take 6 months to buy it or something of the sort. We just don't need it. But both that and my stupidity have cost us a lot of money. It's a good question, and I think the answer makes sense. But Charlie?
Well, it's part of theology that a late conversion is better than never, and you've greatly improved yourself.
Technological revolution. Ironically, our approach to that is just the opposite of Bill's. but that his is the right one for the world. Ours is the right one for me. I look for businesses where I think I can see what they're going to look like in 10 or 15 or 20 years. We don't own any, but if you take Wrigley's chewing gum, I don't think the internet's going to affect how people chew gum. You know, and Bill probably does. I mean, but I don't think it's going to affect the fact that Coke will be the drink of preference and will gain in per capita consumption around the world. I don't think it'll change whether people shave or how they shave, or the fact that they like a better shaving system, as the Mach 3 is going to be very shortly, I might add. So we are looking for the very predictable, and you won't find the very predictable in what Bill does. You'll find the more exciting things, the things that are going to change society more. And so I have a little different opinion. As a member of society, I applaud what he's doing, and as an investor, I keep a wary eye on it. And that's, it's a different approach to investing. Most people think of that all as opportunity, and it has been opportunity. Every internet stock has gone crazy here in recent months, but I don't know how to look at one or the other and tell the winners.
Yeah, this is an area I agree strongly with Warren on. I think the multiples of technology stocks should be quite a bit lower than the multiples of stocks like Coke and Gillette, because we are subject to complete change in the rules. You know, I know very well that in the next 10 years, if Microsoft's still a leader, there will have been at least three crises that we will have had to really prove our excellence in. I accidentally once, when we were on a panel with the CEO of Coke, I said something like, I couldn't run my business when I get to be 60 because it's such a hard business, not like Coke. And I offended him without meaning to.
You won't offend me. I want to be in a business I can run when I'm 100 because I plan to do it. I'm going to retire about 5 years after I die. Maybe.